Thanks for closing the window.
You're welcome.
I'm Ricky.
Hi, and I'm Christina, and it's been a bit windy around here.
These sudden rushes of wind are really making it difficult for us to do our show.
Well, I think we should just lean into it, because we know it's gonna be windy, so might as well make the best of it.
I like your attitude, Christina.
Well, I'm determined even when it gets gusty.
Yeah, we're stronger than a gust of wind.
It's the Loop Show versus the wind.
Will the wind win or will wind whine?
Say that 3 times.
Will the wind win or will wind whine? Will the wind win or will wind whine? Will the wind win or will wind whine?
Hi guys. Today we're going to be talking about sticking with God no matter what. Now, when your circle is filled with Christ-centered people, it is one of the most beautiful gifts you can be given on this earth. However, there will be people outside of that circle who are going to question your beliefs. They're going to wonder why you believe in God, why you believe in Jesus, and why they should even care about your beliefs. They may laugh at you, mock you, tease you. Your influence may invite criticism or rejection. When I was younger, I was part of a musical theater company, and occasionally they would have rehearsals during the times of my church service. Now, obviously, I couldn't go to the rehearsal because I was part of the church service. And while the adults understood, the kids, there were some kids who definitely made fun of me about it. They didn't understand why I even cared about Jesus, why I cared about going to church with my family, all those things. The Bible is full of stories of men and women who were mocked, teased, laughed at because of what they believed. You have people like Moses and Daniel and Jesus who faced real trials and tribulation because of their beliefs. There's even 3 men in the Old Testament named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now, these are 3 young men, and they stood up for their beliefs like none other. They stood up against the cultures of their time, the government of their time. They even faced death. But they never turned away from God. In fact, they stuck with God and kept him at the center of it all. And he showed up and was actually present with them. It's amazing. This brings me to my verse, 2 Corinthians 4:8. It says, "We are pushed hard from all sides, but we are not beaten down. We are bewildered, but that doesn't make us lose hope." Do not lose hope. If you are facing mockery, teasing, you're getting laughed at, whatever it is because of your beliefs in Jesus, be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Stand up and stick with God no matter what, and he will be there for you.
There's a story in the Bible from the book of Daniel about a king named Nebuchadnezzar. Now this king makes a giant gold statue and he says, "Everybody listen, I love this statue and you will too. I want you to bow down and worship my statue. If you don't, no worries. I'll just, throw you into a blazing furnace." Since it's no fun to be burned alive, all of the people bowed down and worshiped this big gold statue. But there were 3 dudes who wouldn't bow. So someone went and tattled. He said, "My king, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego aren't bowing because they worship the one true God and not a statue." Now this sent the king into a rage. He ordered that these 3 guys be brought in for a little chat. When they showed up, the king said, "Last chance, bow to my awesome gold statue or I'll straight up throw you into the furnace." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood firm with courage. They said, "Dear king, if you throw us into the fire, the God we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us. But even if he doesn't, we want to be crystal clear that we will never bow to your gold statue." This made the king so furious that he had the furnace heated up 7 times hotter than usual. He yelled, "Throw them, clothes and all, into the fire, now!" As Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood in the flames, suddenly the king jumped up and he said, "Didn't we only throw 3 guys into the fire?" "We sure did," said his advisors. "Look," said the king. "I see 4 men, unbound, walking around in the fire completely unharmed. And the 4th man looks like a god." The king ordered everyone out of the furnace. As Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out, they didn't even smell like smoke. Not a single scorch mark on their clothes or a singed hair on their heads. The king was so amazed by their courage and faith in their God that he issued a decree. No one was to ever speak a word against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Said the king, "Forget the statue. There's no other God who can rescue like this."
Today, we're gonna see if we can defeat wind.
For our first test, box fans versus tiny umbrellas. We're gonna see how many of these tiny umbrellas can stay stuck to us.
Wind, level 1.
Oh, wow. Oh.
It's happening.
Lift it. Oh. Get in there, Ricky.
Doing great! All right, first round, pretty good. I think you have
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 left.
You have 8. Wait, check.
Yep.
else?
And now for round 2.
For our next test, air versus captured air.
Leaf blower versus balloons.
Goggles on, ready to go.
Light 'em up, Luke!
Wind, level 2.
Really good take!
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm great. You have 4.
He's got 16.
And when we come back, our final test.
Just as a fish moves around without noticing the ocean, we live near the bottom of a great ocean of air. And although 100 times thinner than water, air has a force in motion that is enormous. Air offers a lot of resistance to anything going through it. However, nature makes it possible for birds to fly through the air at speeds that seem out of proportion to the size of their muscles. Science has found that this bird speed is a matter of shape as well as strength. The streamlines of birds make a little power go a long way. With this in mind, engineers study the resistance air offers to moving shapes. Since the earliest study of streamlines, wind tunnels have been used to find out what happens when an object goes through the air. A wind tunnel is simply a long tube with a fan or powerful blower at one end. A stream of air is blown through the tunnel at varying speeds. In some tunnels, up to 120 miles per hour.
In 6th grade, I invented a new hairstyle. I thought it was amazing. Trend-setting, revolutionary. I can't find the exact picture, but if these help you, this is what I thought was cool at the time. It was a look. I loved it. I couldn't wait for everyone at school to see it. And they did. They saw it. They looked, they stared, they started whispering. I was pumped. I was certain they loved it. Then they started laughing. And I was confused. They clearly didn't understand what was happening here. I was a trailblazer. Being so excited about it and then getting laughed at was like a belly flop into a pool or being hit in the face with a cold wind. The resistance to my new hairstyle was strong. And you know, that's a silly story, but it's something I'll never forget because it's the first time I had to find a small but strong part within myself that said, I don't care what they're calling me or saying about me. I know I love this. I know this is important to me. So they can say what they want. I didn't realize then how much I would need that strength in my life. When I've gone to share my faith with people, I've been rejected and in some cases ridiculed. I felt like that 6th grade girl being pushed around by opinions. And then I remembered the small but that strong place in my heart and my mind that says, it doesn't matter. I believe in this. What I know now is that strength is the power of God in me. When I'm faced with a moment now where I'm coming up against resistance, I know I can tap into that power in my heart and my mind to stand strong. And we see this over and over in the Bible. Daniel in the lion's den, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, Esther fighting for her people. They weren't afraid to stand because they knew God was with them. And He's with you too. He will strengthen you. He will guide you. Don't fear the wind and opinions of the world. Step into it. You're strong. You're made for this.
For this last battle, we're going big.
That's right, it's industrial fan versus Post-it notes.
And to show the wind that we mean business, we even wrote words on our Post-its.
And we are determined to make a sentence out of the Post-its that are left over.
And we even attach kites to ourselves to show the wind we're not scared.
Yeah, wind, we have kites.
Yeah, we're ready.
Slide them up, Luke.
Win level 3.
Industrial fan.
Oh. This is pretty fun. Oh my gosh. Woo! Oh my goodness.
Oh, your kite's gonna fly.
Yeah! Oh! Look at that! That's about it!
Break the wind, Luke.
This is gonna be so hard.
All right, let's make that sentence, shall we?
Things was run no to see soon is spring roof.
He song.
Until.
So we're gonna have a time putting together a sentence, so check this out.
We are pushed hard from all sides, but we are not beaten down. We are bewildered, but that doesn't make us lose hope. If you're ever feeling like you can't make a difference with your influence, remember this verse from 2 Corinthians and don't falter. Don't let confusing criticism push you down. Will you choose to love the people who don't like you? Will you choose to stick with it when things get tough? How will you hold on to hope as you hold on to Jesus? Because it won't always be easy. You are an example. People will see how you respond to criticism. Stay determined, and people will notice. Love others, and people will notice. Shine God's light, and people will notice. When you face criticism, will you still be an example of Jesus?
Okay, so we got our Post-its together and we have a great sentence for you.
Yes, well, although I had most of them attached to me, but we put together, I think, a pretty good sentence.
Absolutely.
So you can do half and then I'll do the other half?
Absolutely.
That's good.
Soon saw them no song rhythm until he was home.
To see spring roof, thing is run.
There it is. I'm proud of you for standing up against all that wind.
Well, it made it a lot easier that you were standing there next to me.
Thanks. Standing up for what you believe in isn't always easy.
Yeah, and you might get criticized for influencing people to do what's right.
But stick with it.
It's worth it.
Don't let anything knock you down.
Yeah, and keep Jesus at the center of your life.
And no matter what criticism or wind blows your way,
hang on and
enjoy the ride! So this reminds me of the time when we did the Extreme Bungee Run Challenge. It was a lot of fun. We had a bungee, and we tried to run. It makes more sense if you watch it. So
was it like a stretchy bungee run?
It was a stretchy bungee run.
Try saying that 3 times.
Yeah. Stretchy bungee run. Stretchy bungee run. Stretchy bungee run.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Stretchy bungee run.